Are NASA using AI astronauts to fake the International Space Station? Well, it certainly seems that way in certain clips, like the one we're going to entertain in a minute. Very strange. I've heard no one come up with a logical explanation to what we're going to see. Like I say, it would appear either AI or some technological meltdown. Now, no one doubts an observation in the sky which is cited as the International Space Station. I've seen it myself with my own eyes, but it's obviously not a space station in freefall around a physically impossible globe Earth, is it? Because if it was, of course, we wouldn't have so many space clips that are fails. If it was, we'd have evidence that the globe Earth theory was physically true. We don't. We've just got an abundance of physicality that tells us the globe's impossible, and of course an abundance of space clips that are quite frankly embarrassing, and of course very revealing about the bigger picture of what we're facing here with institutions like NASA, the mainstream media, who are telling us reality is exactly the opposite to what's physically true. And they're showing us space clips to justify it. And quite frankly, like I've said, the space clips are embarrassing. So let's have a look. So this is the clip in question. All I want you to do is focus on this so-called astronaut here on the right, who's currently in the middle of our screen, this lady, who happens to be her birthday. And she's going to give us all a lovely present here with this weird, bizarre performance, okay? The clip here is on loop, it's very short. I'll play it, it'll loop around a couple of times, then I'll come back, we'll cut the sound down and zoom in on her. And someone enlighten me here on what's going on, because this is very strange. I can't think of any logical reason or explanation here of what we're seeing here, other than some sort of technological meltdown, or, like I originally stated, artificial intelligence here perhaps exposing itself. So just watch the lady here.
Hi.
Hi.
First of all, Tracy, happy birthday. Hi.
Once more.
Hi.
First of all, Tracy.
Very strange, Tracy. We're just going to zoom in and cut the sound. So we're back with the birthday girl, Tracy. Like I said, I've zoomed in here, turned the volume down, and we get to see this very strange performance on loop here. Look at Tracy's leg here, her right leg on the left as we're looking at it. Does a bit of an Elvis sort of impersonation. Look at the way she twists and talks her body. Again, very strange. But most bizarre is her head movement. Look. What is that all about? So let's zoom in for the head first of all. What is going on in Tracy's world right now? Watch the head. What is going on? Very strange, Tracy. I can't think of any kind of logical explanation that would explain this away. It's bizarre. Look at Tracy's body. A little bit of a torque and a twist. Maybe a slight adjustment. And of course that Elvis twist there of the right leg. Again, very strange. All unnatural. All very bizarre. We know space in the sense of a vacuum residing next to an air pressure system, Earth. We know those two things are impossible based on demonstrable reality, because you need a wall to separate those two systems from each other. So we know space in the vacuum sense is impossible. We know the globe Earth theory is also physically impossible. And then, of course, when we look at space, the bigger picture, is quite an embarrassment, to be honest, for the people that cling on to it in the hope that in their minds, their heads, their hearts, the things that are physically impossible somehow become a reality because of weird performances like we're seeing on our screen. We are in very strange times, ladies and gentlemen. I've never bought into an alternative product, but I've always known the globe was iffy right from day one. And of course, when I really analysed it, it became obvious that it was physically impossible because no one could cite any physicality to me to suggest it was anything other than a belief system, a theory. Then I went looking at space. I found nothing but silly bits of footage that were, quite frankly, either very funny or incredibly embarrassing. The general public make it worse. They do not have the discernment. They're unable to logically break stuff down because of emotional attachments, whether it be to the education system, the one that they've paid very highly to have in higher education, university or whatever. That holds them back in the way they can be free thinkers and analyse themselves in a logical, discerning, non-emotional, non-biased fashion. Problem is, many people can't do that. The ones that can and can put by the emotion or any bias they've got and still stand by what is true, regardless of the results, those people stand out of the crowd. They're the ones that shine. They're the ones that can take this subject forward, and they're the ones that simply stand by demonstrable physical truths, because that's all you need. The moment you start promoting belief systems, the physical truth of this realm starts to suffer. You only need to stand by what is. That's enough to highlight what isn't, okay? And space, well, yeah. Have a good one, everyone.